There's this hobby that some people have. Some people call it crazy, but I think it's really enjoyable. It's called ice climbing. So basically, you need a waterfall and you need it to get cold enough to freeze. And then you put on a helmet, get some spiky tools for your hands and your feet, and you climb up the vertical part of the ice. And it's great fun. It's a total blast. It's probably my favorite sport to do. So one time, and these ice climbs, they all have funny names. There's one called the Bridal Veil Falls. There's one called the White Nightmare. There's one called Stairway to Heaven. There's one called Snotty Nosed Brat. And, they're great fun. They each are unique. So me and a friend were on this one called Stairway to Heaven. And this thing has 6 different sections that you climb up, and they get progressively harder as you climb up this mountainside. And me and my friend Nate, we were pretty well versed with the first 200 feet or so. So we thought, okay, we're going to dispense with the ropes, and we're just going to free solo up to where it starts to get hard and challenging for us. So we're just going to go for it. So Nate goes first. He's leading the way. He's slamming his ice tools. Bam, bam, bam. And you always have to be careful with these ice tools because they break loose ice, so you don't want to look at it because the ice will cut your face, give you marks, whatever. So you put your head down and it bounces off your helmet. And the next one and the next one, boom, boom, boom. Feet are kicking, getting a good synchronization, bam, 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 bam. And you can really make good time up these ice climbs, especially if you're not roped in. I mean, of course, the rope is safer, and you'll stay alive if you fall with a rope, and you can fall to your death without a rope. But it's a lot faster, and we felt like fastness is safety, so we'll just go for it. So we go up the first 100 feet, no problem. Nate starts up the second 100 feet. I wait for him because these ice chunks fall down. So I wait for him to clear the thing, and then I start up it myself. And it's pretty exciting to be up there, hundreds of feet above the canyon floor. You're looking way down, and there's cars driving by, and there's cold wind blowing, and there's, ice in your eyebrows, and if you have a mustache, it ices over, and you're up there, and you're breathing heavy, and you just really feel alive. So I'm up there, and I'm swinging my tools, and the climb gets from 50 feet wide to about 3 feet wide, and there's one way you can go. So it's kind of in a corner, and I'm tapping on my ice tools, getting them just right for the little challenging part. And one of my ice tools gets stuck. I can't really pull it out. So I'm kind of yanking on it, wiggling and yanking. Kind of look around, rest a little bit. And I look around, and there's cars driving by hundreds of feet below. There's ice chunks. Like you can watch them fall to their death and explode on the frozen ledges below. And I'm kind of getting a little nervous, up there stuck with these ice tools. So, and the longer that you hang out, the more tired you get and the less energy you have to finish before you fall off to your death. So I'm like, okay, it's time to go. Let's get this thing going. And it's not coming out. My ice tool's not coming out. And finally, I'm staring right at it, and I yank it out, and BAM! It hits me right in the face. And I start bleeding. But I look down, and the glasses I was wearing are now busted, and I can see one of the lenses hurling to the earth and disappear in a sea of white. And there's no hope that I'll ever retrieve that lens. And I start to taste this little kind of a salty in my mouth too. I'm like, wow, it must be bleeding somewhere. But just got to keep going because I'm in a precarious position. So that ice tool's free. I keep going. I keep climbing up. I got about 20 more feet to that big fat ledge. And if you can imagine Nate, he's looking down, and I poke my head up. And he looks at me and he says, dude, what happened? You're totally bleeding. Are your teeth falling out? Because there was blood all in my teeth and all dripping down my face. And I get to the top, I'm like, whew, man, that was crazy. And he's like, dude, what are we going to do? I'm like, oh, it's just a little cut. If you promise that you'll lead, then I can just belay you the rest of the way. We'll be fine. He's like, no, we're going down. So we figured it out how to rappel down, and we rappelled down this ice climb. And I actually went to the doctor. I drove down the canyon with one eye, and I met this doctor that I started a lifetime eye relationship with, and we still visit him to this day. But the lesson I learned from that is sometimes when you're in a precarious place and it seems like everything's going against you, sometimes you just got to close one eye and keep climbing. So I really like helping people. And I have a lot of experience with adventures. I've done hundreds of adventures. Every adventure always has something go wrong. There's some kind of obstacle. You have to go over, around, or through it. And getting alone is really similar to that. And it's really helpful to have a guide you along the way. There used to be, some people call him a lone officer. I prefer lone guide because that's really what we're doing, is we're taking you from your desire to have a loan all the way to closing your loan. I'm Jared McBride, your loan guide. If you have any questions or to start your route to home financing, call me 858-752-3461. Let me be your loan guide.